Mike Seidel showing us all how it's done in his reporting last night. Hey, even without a direct landfall last hurricane season, right where he was standing, North Carolina's Outer Banks, they took a relentless beating from the Atlantic. Multiple storms passed just offshore, triggering storm surge and high surf, with coastal flooding and erosion as a result. We saw some of that all over again with this weekend's powerful nor'easter. Joining us now to provide more insight into how storms like this can gradually reshape the coastline is the professor of coastal geomorphology at UNC Chapel Hill, Dr. Laura Moore. Laura, thanks so much for being here. Unfortunately, this is a familiar sight. We saw another house collapse into the sea in Buxton because of this storm. What can be done? I know a lot of these homes, they're not occupied, and many have been moved in the months since the hurricane season. But is that it? Is it basically we're at nature's mercy here?
Well, it's a really tricky situation because we are looking at locations on the coastline that are eroding chronically at very high rates over the long term. And so the rates of erosion are so high in the area of Buxton and Rodanthe, North Carolina as well, that it's very difficult to counter them with approaches like beach nourishment. So unfortunately, we're not out of the woods yet. The winds have died down, but waves are still over 6 feet high. And this in combination with another high tide this evening, I mean, we could already be set up for the loss of another home in short order. So it's a very, very challenging problem.
I know from the outside looking in, some folks see the video and they're saying, why are these homes here in the first place? And the short answer is, it didn't look like this when most of these homes went up. I mean, 60s, 70s, 80s, they had hundreds of yards of frontage to the ocean, but these are natural barriers. We often think of tropical systems doing things like this. Do nor'easters sometimes get overlooked with their impact on the coastline and some of the erosion they can cause?
That's a great point, and I'm glad you're talking about it because we do tend to really focus on hurricanes. Their impacts can be extremely severe, as we know. I mean, we had storms that didn't even make landfall this year that caused homes to collapse and brought very high water levels and big waves to shore. But the thing about hurricanes is that they do tend to be shorter lived. They can be extremely intense, but often they'll come in and maybe they'll hit one high tide, but they might actually at their greatest wind speed and highest wave impact as they're making landfall miss a high tide. The situation with a nor'easter, as you were just hearing Mike Seidel say, is that we can have high winds and big waves that are occurring over multiple tidal cycles. And this means multiple high tides that are even higher because of the water level that's elevated due to big waves and all that wind pushing water on shore. So nor'easters can be even more impactful than hurricanes. They also are much less localized. And so we can see, pretty extended impacts across, broad swaths of a longshore area with nor'easters.
Yeah, and looking at Mike's live shot, if you replace the snowflakes with rain, it would certainly look like he was in some powerful tropical system. You've spent years studying barrier islands. I'm so curious about this. I used to live down in Tampa Bay and Pinellas County coastline and beyond. You have that beautiful network of barrier islands. What does the science tell us moving forward? Is there modeling showing, at least through the years and decades, how the shape of the coastline could change by similar processes?
Yeah, I mean, barrier island landscapes are by nature dynamic. They're actually built by the very storms that we understandably are trying to protect them from. So, barrier island landscapes are subject to erosion. There are some places that are changing faster than others. And it's a challenge because some of the very approaches that we use to protect roads and homes from the effects of storms actually get in the way of these landscapes moving landward and building upward in a way that allows them to persist over the long term. And like you said, these homes were built much farther from the shoreline. We have erosion setbacks that are basically say, you can build your home as long as you're 30 times the erosion rate back from the mean high water line, which means eventually over some decades, the shoreline has the potential to be colliding with the homes. And that's really what we're seeing, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's such a complicated thing, and there are so many questions at the National Seashore. But every time you see a home collapsing into the ocean, it's such an unfortunate thing. It's Dr. Laura Moore, professor of coastal geomorphology at UNC Chapel Hill. Thanks for talking with us on Fox Weather this afternoon.
Glad to do so. Thanks for your coverage.
Thank you.
Take care.
You too.